Hi, everyone. Tonight, I wanted to talk about the three weird sisters in Macbeth and focus on Act One, scenes one and three. So, unpack the symbols going on, the symbology going on in Act One with regards to the three weird sisters. Does it foreshadow certain things throughout Macbeth? And then answer the question um, that Macbeth, I think, presents is a human life governed by fate or choice, free will? What more determines a human life, fate or free will and choice? So, who are the three weird sisters? We'll start there. So, in the action of the play, they are referred to as witches, but in the character list, they are referred to as the weird sisters. And weird, WYRD, is an old English word that means fate or personal destiny. So I think Shakespeare purposefully used weird to make that connection with that old English word. So meaning fate or personal destiny, which then connects the three witches or the three weird sisters with the three fates of Greek mythology. Okay. And the three fates of Greek mythology are Clotho, Lachesis, and Atropos. So Clotho was the one who created the thread or created the human being. Lachesis is the one who measured the life, how long a life would be. And then Atropos was the one who cut the thread or determined when someone would die. Interestingly enough, this is akin in Hindu mythology to Brahma, Vishnu, and Shiva. Brahma being the creator god, Vishnu the preserver god, and Shiva the destroyer god or god of death. And I think what Brahma, Vishnu, Shiva, or Clotho, Lachesis, and Atropos, what they represent are aspects of nature. So I think what Shakespeare is saying is that this play is about nature and one's relationship to nature. If one has a healthy relationship to nature, one can ascend to divinity. If one has an unhealthy relationship with nature, one can descend to devilry, to a demonic nature. Okay. And Macbeth, which way does he go? Okay. So I want to get into the witches here. So in Act One, Scene One, we meet the first witch, and she says, "When shall we three meet again? Us three witches. Will we meet in thunder, lightning, or in rain?" So I think off the bat, Shakespeare is giving storm imagery. Okay. He's saying this is going to be this isn't going to be an easy play. Okay. In a storm, um, literally and figuratively, can mean a disturbance in nature. If something isn't quite right in nature or nature is being disturbed. More symbolically, more metaphorically, it can represent disillusionment and it can also represent spiritual and psychological upheaval. So I think in Shakespeare, the beginnings of plays are very important for Shakespeare and for us as readers to pay attention to. So already, so one, not only are the characters that are starting the play witches, but she's asking the questions, where are we going to meet? We're going to meet in some type of storm. Okay. The second witch replies, we're going to meet when the hurly-burly's done, when the battle is lost and won. So hurly-burly means kind of chaotic energy, boisterous activity. Okay. Nothing is still, nothing is calm. Okay. Everything has a high energy, is going fast. And if you've listened to some of my other videos, Shakespeare usually paints the villains as those who are always in haste. They're always in a hurry. And I think for Shakespeare, on a symbolic level, he means that those people are kind of more in their ego nature and not in their soul nature, okay, or in their demonic nature. Okay, when the battle is lost and won. So here we kind of have equivocation, confusing, ambiguous language. If you read Macbeth, you probably understand what that means. But when you're reading it, well, what does that mean? I'm going to lose and win a battle. Okay, so it's starting off with some ambiguous language. Okay, all of them also say in unison in that scene, "Fair is foul, foul is fair. Hover through the fog and filthy air." So again, Shakespeare is using imagery, uh, I think, to confuse us, or imagery to confusing imagery, or imagery fog you can't quite see clearly through, and filthy air, something's dirty. Okay, something can't be seen clearly or penetrated through. Also, in scene one, you have a couple of familiars, spirit familiars for these witches that come on stage and or are referenced to. And one of these is a cat. The cat is called Grey Malkin, and the cat is gray. And I think Shakespeare chooses the color gray again for confusion. It's not black, it's not white, it's gray. It's a mixture of the two. So I think he's just adding another layer, saying, "Yep, what I'm trying to paint here is an image of confusion, of not quite knowing what is right, what is wrong." Okay, a cat can also mean mystery. Again, something not quite solvable. Uh, it also can represent feminine energy. So the feminine meaning, I think, traditionally meaning feeling. So this is for each of us. This doesn't mean female. This means the feminine, the feeling. So that Macbeth is about the negative feminine. So we have Lady Macbeth, we have Hecate, we have the three witches. So it's very much about the dark feminine, and the dark feminine for each of us. The dark feminine can mean uh, negative emotions, or uh, an excessive attachment to something. Okay, i.e., or for example, greed. Right, we can be afflicted by greed and operate out of greed. Okay, and cat can also mean independence too. So something that's independent. Cats have more of an independent nature than a dog, for example. And I'll talk more about that in a second here. The other familiar, the other spirit animal is Paddock, and Paddock is a toad. So in alchemy, a toad represents the substance that is worked upon in an alchemical experiment. It's the first material that is worked upon. So I think this represents Macbeth. Macbeth is being worked upon by the fates. Okay. But the question is, does he have control, or is he merely an instrument of the fates? And what does Shakespeare say about that? And I'll get to that. Okay. So now on to scene three. So remember, in scene one, the first witch asks, "When shall we meet again? In thunder, lightning, or in rain?" In scene three, they meet in thunder. So the answer is thunder. Okay. And what does thunder represent? So thunder represents death, or the fear of impending death. Okay. Us probably as children, uh, most of us, when we were children, we were thunder, made us afraid. We thought something bad was going to happen. So, and I think this is something that has been part of human nature for millennia. Again, thunder also represents something that is beyond our control. We can't control thunder. So again, is Shakespeare adding another layer of fate here, something that is beyond our control? Thunder can also represent or be symbolic of divine power. Uh, Zeus, right, was the god of lightning and thunder, I believe. So again, divine power, and divine power can be something that just is outside of ego's control. So the positive aspect of divine power would be the Christ, the Krishna, God consciousness, but it can also mean demonic power. So we have Satan, uh, darkness, the evil gods. Hecate is mentioned in Macbeth. I did want to make an aside here for my Baconians, my fellow Baconians. I think most of you know, if you've seen my play, excuse me, if you've seen the videos on my channel, I do believe Francis Bacon and Sir Walter Raleigh, uh, who are twin brothers, so the Bacon brothers, that they were the primary writers of the Shakespeare works. And so, as an aside here, one witch says to another witch here, uh, where one witch asks, "Well, where have you been since we last met?" She said, "I was killing swine." So again, killing pigs. So I think this is a reference to who wrote the play. Sir Francis Bacon and Walter Raleigh loved to play with names, and loved to play jokes on their name. So I think the killing swine is a reference to them. Okay. Further on, another witch asks another witch, "Well, where have you been?" She says, "I've been." Uh, I'm paraphrasing here a little bit, but essentially, she was bothering a woman who had chestnuts. She wanted those chestnuts, but then the woman says, "Orointhe, witch." Okay, the Orointhe means be gone. So this I'm connecting to the cat symbology of the cat being independent. The woman's had the choice. She could have given in to the witch, been been terrified by the witch and given the chestnuts. But the woman says, "No, one, I'm not going to give them to you. And two, get out of here. I'm not going to listen to you. I'm making a choice here." Okay, this could also be an allusion to when Christ says, get thee behind me, Satan. Okay, so again, referencing that an individual has power over satanic impulses, negative impulses. So here is where Shakespeare, I think, is saying choice. We have the power of choice to affect destiny, to affect fate. Okay, and I'll end the video by thinking, where does Shakespeare come on with? Where does he land on? Is life more fate or more choice? Okay, another which says, "Well, where I've been bothering the captain of a ship." He says his bark cannot be lost, and bark meaning his ship can't be lost. I can't destroy the ship, perhaps, but I can make it tempest tossed. I can make it go through storms. So, and this is symbolic of Macbeth. Macbeth, Macbeth cannot be killed unless or until certain things happen in nature. Um, he is eventually killed, but throughout the majority of the act of the play, he is afflicted. He is tempest tossed in the mind and in spirit. Okay. Macbeth and Banquo eventually meet the three sisters on the heath, and they appear to them as withered and wild and wearing beards. So again, here Shakespeare again adding another layer of confusion. And what is their sex? Are they male? Are they female? Also, are they human or are they spirit? Macbeth says, "What seemed corporal melted as breath into the wind." Okay? And that has some spiritual connotations that if you watch some of my other Macbeth videos, you'll understand breath into the wind. Banquo later says in the same scene, "Have we eaten on the insane root that takes reason prisoner?" What he's saying there, are we just imagining these things? Okay. It's not believable to the reason that these things exist. But symbolically, what it means, the insane root is desire. And in this particular case, in Macbeth's case, it is greed. In the Bhagavad Gita says there are three paths, three doorways to suffering. One is anger, another one lust, and another one greed. And Macbeth is afflicted with and indulges in greed. He he's not happy with just being the Thane of Cawdor. He also has to become king of Scotland. Okay. But before we go on further with that, so after Banquo and Macbeth have met the three sisters, they've come and gone. Other thanes or other noblemen of Scotland come to them. They greet Macbeth, "Hail, Thane of Cawdor." Banquo says, "So far, what the witches have said has come true. Now might you become king." And he says, "Might not that enkindle you?" I'm paraphrasing here. "Might not that enkindle you to the kingship?" And I think Shakespeare is using that word enkindle with great purpose. Enkindle meaning flame, fire, representative of passion, representative of impulse. Okay. That Macbeth is inflamed with greed. His greed is for the kingship. And I think what that is, it's for power. I think what Macbeth desires is power. Banquo later says, "It 'tis strange oftentimes to win us to our harm, the instruments of darkness tell us truths, win us with trifles to betray us in deepest consequence." Okay, that darkness tells us with truths and win us with honest trifles. So what appears to be good for us in the end turns out to be bad for us. And in Eastern philosophy, excuse me, this is desire. If we indulge in desire repeatedly, it becomes habit, and habit becomes character. It becomes who we are. So that if we don't have a natural relationship with our natural impulses, then we become bestial or animalistic, and there are references and allusions to animals throughout Macbeth, or we become demonic. Okay, and Macbeth, of course, with the three witches, with Hecate, with other imagery, this is very much a demonic play, and with Lady Macbeth, she is representative of the feminine evil. Macbeth later says about the kingship, "If good, why do I yield to that suggestion, the suggestion that I'll become king, whose horrid image doth unfix my hair, and seated heart knock at my ribs against the use of nature." Against the use of nature. Again, he is not, there is a disturbance in nature, and he is not using nature naturally. He has an unnatural relationship with nature. Okay. Something in him knows that. Okay. Towards the end of the scene, he says, "Chance may crown me without my stir." So chance, fate, may make me king without me doing anything. So there's also something in Macbeth that is telling him, don't do anything. You still may become king. I think this is part of the confusion imagery. Macbeth is at the precipice. Okay. To become king, do I commit actions to become king, or do I do nothing and let fate make me king? Okay, so where do I feel Shakespeare comes down on the fate versus free will dynamic? I feel he believes it's both. I think that each human life I think Shakespeare believes that each human life, there is an aspect of fate, of destiny, but that choice, free will and choice can affect it, can bring it, along a certain path. So I think my opinion is that Shakespeare believes both, and he uses the word double a lot. So not only to indicate confusion and, double meanings, ambiguity, but perhaps that there are 2 ways. There are 2 ways or 2 aspects to human existence, one affecting the other. So fate and free choice working in tandem, to create a human life. So those are some of my thoughts and opinions on the Weird Sisters in Macbeth. When you unpack the symbology, in Act 1, particularly in scenes 1 and 3 with the Weird Sisters, it kind of unpacks the entire play. It foreshadows, what Macbeth will go through, and what will happen to Macbeth. Let me know if you think I'm way off base there. Let me know if, what you think life is. Is it fate, or is it free will, or is it a combination of the 2? And what do you think of the 3 weird sisters, and what do they represent to you? Also, please like and subscribe. That helps out the channel a lot. It helps, the channel to create content for you all. Thank you all. Have a wonderful evening. Bye.